All right, so today we're mixing it up a little bit again. We're making hat making tools, which I know is kind of random, but I've become pretty convinced that I could make cowboy hats, so I need a couple things to try to do that. And yeah, so first we got to make this rounding jack thing. They're calling it the rounding jack or the brim cutter. I don't know. There's a couple different names for it, but basically it just lets you cut the brim of the hat to a specific diameter, right? And none of this I think is gonna really make sense without showing you what I'm making, because I don't know about you, but I didn't know what the heck this was before I learned of it. So here is the CAD model I made of the plan of what I was going to do with it. So basically it's just this little thing that holds a little knife cutter edge thing in, and it like slides around so you can change the diameter of where the cut is, like that. And then the hat like crown itself goes on the inside here on this rounded part, and then you can cut to that diameter by like moving it around. But yeah, anyways. Okay, so now we got to start working on the stupid. So we need a hat block, right? I need a block that is basically just like a mannequin head sort of thing that holds the crown of the hat while I'm shaping it, because the felt or the straw comes to you like unblocked, and you have to like form it to the size of your head, right? So I've got to make basically the wood cube out of these random pieces. Also, I know I should really be making these cuts on a chop saw / miter saw, but at the time I didn't have one yet, okay? And you're probably gonna be watching this, and like 4 minutes from now you're gonna be like, you have a miter saw right here, I'm watching you use it. Well, I didn't have it when I filmed this part, okay? I got it later, shout out my grandpa. But yeah, that's why I'm using the skill saw for this. But anyways, I gotta make the cube, and it's gonna turn into something that looks sort of like this, except not as pretty as the idea, but that's the general shape of what needs to happen. And basically I'm just gluing a bunch of panels together, and then I'm gluing the panels to the thing, and then it makes the cube. But now I've got to make, it's just the whole thing, man. I gotta scrape all the glue, and then, yeah, and then we're back to making the rounding jack. So I cut out these pieces to basically make the rails that the little knife holder thing slides on, right? And now I'm trying to glue them together. And you think this wouldn't be very hard, because I've got CAD schematics, I've got my mind, and I've got 4 pieces that need to be glued together. But I mess it up. I mess it up crazy style. And basically I glued to the wrong side of I glued it horizontally instead of vertically, and realized it as soon as the glue had set. So now I have to flush cut this with the handsaw, the whole thing off, because I don't have like a band saw to do it. So I gotta glue it back together, but the right way. So that's what we're doing here. And this pretty much fixed it. At least it wasn't like a catastrophic failure. But now we gotta do the holes with the Forster bit for the little plate that the knife holder that the knife holder uses to like clamp down, because it's like a clamping force that holds it in place on the rail with the little like that metal knob that you could see in the CAD model before. It's like you'll see it. It holds it all together with this bolt that ends up fitting quite nicely after I chisel everything out here. Chisel a little square into the hard maple, which once again it's the hard maple, so this took like way too long. But now we got the square, and the bolt head sits in that. and it locks in place and can't spin, and we're chilling. But now we're back to the doom and despair that is trying to make the hat block the right shape out of this wood. When it's like 95 degrees outside and you're in the sun, there's no way to explain how annoying it is having to hand saw the massive cube of wood. Oh my god, that was my least favorite activity ever, and there was not very much footage of it because I was getting really annoyed that I kept having to do it, and we're coming back to it, by the way. But now we're making the base of the little stand that holds the hat block up so I can like maneuver the hat body above the table so I can like really block it out, right? And we're just using the Forstner bits here to get some good holes, which shout out Forstner bits, by the way. Those are like insanely good at making holes in the wood. But also, here's the miter saw that we were talking about before, cutting this rod with a great shot of my elbow, by the way, just perfectly in the way of the cut. But yeah, we're just cutting that to size, and then we're using another one of the Forstner bits to make a hole for it in the wood, and then we're using this Dremel to kind of taper the end down a little bit so we can like force fit it into that hole so that it has no wiggle room. So I don't have to try to clamp the dowel, the rod, the dowel, whatever you want to call it. I don't have to try to clamp it in. I can just glue it, and the force of it fitting perfectly will hold the glue into place. That's the idea anyways. And I mean, the idea worked, so I think it's a good idea. But yeah, look at this. This is the stand. This is the idea of the hat block on the stand. But now we got to shape this thing more, so turn the music back on. So, unsurprisingly, somehow I made it, one, not the right shape, and two, too small, so I couldn't even fix the shape. So we're going back to the drawing board, and we're starting again with the hat block. And this time we're making it out of PVE insulation foam, just this purple foam you get at like Home Depot, right? Because I am not sanding or cutting all of that wood again. It's not happening. So we're using foam this time because I think it'll be easier to work with. You can just cut the circular pieces or oval pieces, whatever you want to call them, the elliptical pieces, out with this X-Acto knife, stack them all up, glue them together with this 3M77 spray adhesive I got, and then we're gonna have this nice big like block of foam that we can then shape like how I envisioned we were going to be able to shape the wood, because the comparison here, like the wood one is not even close to the right shape. It's not round, it's just like square, which is not great. But before we do that, we got to finish shaping some pieces on this rounding jack. Now that I've got the whole Dremel set up, we can shape this edge here so it's got a bit of a radius to it, and also not be like 3 inches thick because that's just way too much wasted space. But then we get to go back to the hat block. And this was so much faster. The foam sands so easily, but the Forstner bits don't really work on the foam is the thing. It's like good enough. It makes a hole, but it doesn't make a very clean hole. I probably should have used like the Dremel for this to get a clean edge, but I mean, it was serviceable, so I think it's fine. I mean, it works. It works enough. You take a look at how smooth I was able to get the surface of that, and then take a look at this hole. It's like pretty decent. It fits on the wood rod of that same base. But yeah, now we gotta attach these screws to this to be able to clamp the little knife edge that we're gonna make in a second into this apparatus to hold it in place. And I mean, this was pretty straightforward. You just drill some holes and put some screws in there. Although I used machine screws because I didn't have wood screws that were small enough. I think it's fine. But I also think that they have since gotten a little loose because it's a machine screw in walnut, which is, I mean, the walnut's just a little too soft to be able to really hold the machine screws in, so they want to walk out. But I don't know. I mean, it works. Like, look at this. It's holding it in place. And then the little knob to tighten it. Like, it's sliding around, and then you tighten it, and it doesn't slide around. Like, that's what we needed. But yeah, now we gotta start working on the cutting edge, which I got this tool steel from McMaster Carr, putting it in this vise, and basically we're gonna take the angle grinder to it, cut a 45-degree-ish edge on it, and then we're gonna take it over to the grinding wheel, because I didn't really know how to make a edge like at all. I still don't really know, so if anybody has any good shouts on how to make a good edge on a piece of steel, like when there's no edge at all, I am all ears, because I couldn't find a great one, and this is the best I could come up with, was just grinding it with this wheel and getting it like pretty close. But I think I got the steel too hot. You'll see in a second. There's some like blue spots on it where I think I accidentally tempered it, maybe. I don't know. I did something to it that wasn't right. But like, hang on. As soon as it goes in focus, the edge is gonna go in focus. And take a look at the blue mark. It's like right on the tip where it like kind of deformed a little bit. Hang on, if my camera would lock in. Maybe. Oh, and there it is. Look at that edge. It stayed that color. That's not because it's hot. I did something to it. I think I got it too hot. But anyways, now I'm using this Dremel bit to try to get it, try to put like a little micro bevel on it and get it up to an acceptable sharpness. And this is kind of a stupid method, but I got it like sharper than my pocket knife, which, I mean, isn't saying all that much because my pocket knife's pretty dull at this point. I need to sharpen it, but I don't have like a set of stones, so this is really the best I could come up with on the spot. But yeah, I mean, we're just cutting the edge of it off now, and then we're doing the big reveal of the finished tools. Check it out. We got it. We got the hat block on the stand. It fits on the stand, and it's like pretty level and pretty good. There's the rounding jack. You see that big washer, and there's a little thing on the back of it. We're just added it afterwards because I may have broke it in the next video. You'll see. But yeah, this is it. It worked. It came together pretty well, man. Like, look at that. Look at that. But yeah, thanks for watching. You should like and subscribe to support the channel. I appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next one.